all because that proficient in Zoom. I'm gonna say, got it. And so, Mariana, I can't yet share my screen. Do you want to let me screen share?
Yes. Can you try it again? I just made you co-host.
There we go. Okay, I got it.
Awesome.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. I will leave you with the amazing Brooke so we can start this journey through South Africa. Thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you all very, very much for everyone who has joined us and for dealing with all of the tech hiccups. Not a worry whatsoever. I really appreciate your time. It's exciting to see so many of you have joined today. And I'm just going to hop right in. So it's not just South Africa that we're covering today. I work with 5 independent, privately owned, ultimate, super luxe, one-of-a-kind properties in South Africa, Rwanda, and Kenya, all of which are being supported by Ultimate Jet Vacations Africa. And thank you very, very much for that. Really appreciate it. So without further ado, here we go. Swallow Kalahari in South Africa. We are South Africa's largest privately owned game reserve. I'm gonna quickly, I don't think I need to be letting people in, Mariana, right? I'm seeing like people waiting and stuff. I'm gonna.
Yes, no worries. I'm everyone. No worries.
Okay, great.
You go ahead.
Perfect. Okay, so sorry, once again, Swallow Kalahari. We are South Africa's largest privately owned game reserve. We are in the green Kalahari, which is why I love starting with this photo. And we now have 3 properties. We just launched Luwapi in July. So it is definitely, I would say, the hot new kid on the block that everyone is talking about. And where we are in South Africa, Swallow, like I said, is in the green Kalahari. We are certifiably malaria-free, so fantastic for families. Every one of my 5 properties, children of any age are welcome. Swallow has daily seat in charter flights from Joburg and Cape Town, so seamless to combine us in an itinerary. This showcases the history of Swallow. Where we see that white line, that's where we started. And the family that owns Swallow over time has bought up more than 50 farms that had been mismanaged or overgrazed, overfarmed, overranched, and brought it all back to life. Swallow means a new beginning in the Tswana language, and that is what we are all about. And now you see that outline and how much we've grown. And I'm going to show you another map in a little bit. But if you think about it, Swallow, we are 300,000 acres of land. Okay, so we are twice the size of the Sabi Sands. We're like the size of Grumeti. We are absolutely massive with all of this wonderful biodiversity. So also at Swallow, we guarantee a private vehicle guide and tracker for every single booking. We are also fabulous for single travelers for that reason. But again, children's seats for if you've got a young one, or honeymoon couples are having their own experience. We make sure everything is completely private and tailored to your guests. We include horse riding for all levels of ability. I literally ride once a year, and that's at Swallow. That's about as much as I know how to do on a horse. So you can go for a nice little ride, or if you are a proper equestrian, we can get you set up with our kind of head of the stables to get lots more information on the equine program there. We also include walks. We have 2 colonies of habituated meerkats, different sleep out experiences, so a whole wealth of activity. And of course, you're coming to Africa and coming to Swallow for safari and animal viewing. Now, we've got big game. You're going to see your buffalo, your Kalahari black maned lion, your desert black rhino. But what makes Swallow so exceptional is we are known for having the rare, the elusive, the endangered. I call them your life listers. We are known for pangolin, aardvark, aardwolf. We have brown and spotted hyena. I was on property this past May and was able to see our new wild dog pups. At the time, they were about 12 weeks old. And no, sorry, there's 12 of them, and they were about 6 or 8 weeks old. So now they're like 20 weeks old and doing really well. And then you've got your oryx and sable and eland. So really, again, varied animal viewing. Now, also, Swallow is a part of the long run. We are very kind of concerned and focused on the 4 C's, which are conservation, community, culture, and commerce. And here we see a lot of the community outreach. We have a school, we have a clinic, we have an artist in residence program, and also a research in residence program that your guests can participate in. For the foodies out there, we have what I think is probably Africa's most sought after restaurant right now. This is called Klein Jan. Jan Hendrik van der Westhuizen is South Africa's first Michelin-starred chef, and his Michelin restaurant is in France. He wanted a homecoming. So Klein means small or little in Afrikaans. And here we have built a restaurant for him at Swallow, Klein Jan. It is included for every guest. It is a 3-hour progressional kind of, really interesting theatrical storytelling dining experience. It is for children 12 and above. So if you've got young ones, again, we include nannies and babysitters and activities. But what you're going to find here is you start at Basquiat House. Basquiat House was the original farmhouse at Swallow. It's like a 100-year-old building that was renovated and converted into where you start your experience. And you're going to afternoon game drive and come over here, and on the deck, they're going to start you with maybe a Kalahari melon margarita, because everything is hyper local. The Kalahari melons, Kalahari truffles, the camel's milk cheese, the herbs, the spices, the wines, the spirits. And then you go outside and you're moving and tasting and going down through this incredible kind of water cistern, down and through to the main restaurant, which was built underground to kind of pay homage to all of those burrowing species that we have. So this is absolutely decadent, delicious, and again, a real wow. I always say, don't tell your guests too much about it or show them too many photos. Really let them have that surprise and delight. Unless, of course, they're coming to you and specifically saying, I've heard about or read about Klein Jan. Now, back to, again, the size of Swallow and that biodiversity map. What really is very important to me here is that you're seeing all of the different habitats, from the mountains where we have San Bushman etchings to all the way out on the western side where we've got these kind of salt pans. We've got dunes and grasslands. Certain times of year, beautiful yellow flowers are sprinkling the whole topography. So with that, we have 3 separate accommodations, and they are, if you triangulate, about 45 minutes away from one another. So very different settings. Up top is where we have Motsi. Down here is where we have Tarkuni. And on the other side of the Karanenberg Mountains is where we have Lawapi. Part of why I stress this so much is that we've gone out with an incredible stay longer package, which is a total of 6 nights, 3 nights Motsi, 3 nights Lawapi. So stay 6 nights, but pay for 5, and we pay for the flights. It is definitely, again, just this incredible opportunity to immerse people in this environment for them to then be able to stay longer. So Motsi up top here, this was the original. It is your kind of classic FIT lodge. Then we have Tarkuni, the 5-bedroom villa. And then underneath is Lawapi, the new property. What an incredible photo of Motsi, right? It really does highlight, when I say green Kalahari, how truly green we can be in season, not year round, but different times of year. And here at Motsi, we have 9 separate suites. 3 of them are 2-bedroom family suites. 1 of them is fully accessible. And we have what you would expect of a lodge. We've got a beautiful spa and fitness center, the gallery and the boutique. I will highlight, we have an amazing photographic program here. We have a photographic studio with computers and printers and lenses for people to rent. And we have a photographic vehicle and guide. So definitely a way to really elevate that experience for your guests. And Swallow is all about being understated luxury. We are 5-star and a part of a number of different consortiums, but truly understated, subtle, giving you a sense of place with the thatch, the leadwood, the stone, these big picture windows. and things that are really unique and custom just to Swallow, from the canopy above the bed that is a custom map of the entire reserve, to the rooms having all of the pieces from the artist in residence. Now, I'll take you down the length of the mountains, about 45 minutes, as I said, to where Tarkuni is. Tarkuni is the 5-bedroom exclusive use, all-encompassing villa. We start pricing at 4 guests and then take up to 10. So it is a per person rate once you're above 4. And Tarkuni has its own boma, pool, spa upstairs, chaise area, indoor and outdoor spaces, wonderful staff, pool. And now I'm going to bring you across the mountains to Lawapi, and we'll spend a little bit more time here since it's new. Lawapi, as you can see, is far spread apart on all different sides of this mountain. Lawapi is private homes, 6 in total. 2 of them are 2-bedroom and 4 of them are 1-bedroom. This is not a shared experience. You're not going to see other guests. This is the ultimate privacy for a couple, for a small family, wanting the newest, the best, the most wow. And when I say wow, right, look at this photo. The setting of Lawapi is just divine. I'm in the States right now. It reminds me of being in the Southwest. I feel like I've stepped into a Georgia O'Keeffe, right? Here, you're looking out at the Karanenburg Mountains. So Motsi sits on the other side of the mountains that you're seeing here, with entirely different views. And as we zoom closer in, if we look at Lawapi, this is one of the 2 bedrooms. The 2 bedrooms are about 4,500 square feet, the 1-bedroom, 3,500 square feet. So these are massive exclusive use homes. They all have their own private pool, little fire area outside. Then you've got your day beds and outdoor dining. The tents that you see on either side, those are the rooms. And then in the middle is where all of the kind of social and entertaining spaces are. Now, from above, this long walkway out the back leads to what we call the outpost, or a little conservation room. And on the back side, privately tucked away, that is where the homati is. The homati, that is the word that the San used for caregiver or nurturer. So basically, that is the name that we have bestowed upon the butlers that we have. All of the Lawapi homes have a private staff of 4, private guide and tracker, as every single booking at Swallow gets, and then a private homati and chef. This is the outpost. So the outpost is great because this is going to be ever changing. Every month, let's say, new photos, new information, what is happening on property now. Where I just said to you in May, I went out with our, new head guide, Deirdre, and I saw the 12 wild dog pups. Well, what's going to happen next February or next November when your guests are with us? So this is going to let them know what is happening that they can be a part of. And something that is also truly unique and different, we custom fit our own safari vehicles as well for a couple, because all of a sudden with 6 new homes, we knew we were going to need to have more vehicles, always still very concerned with our environmental footprint. So we still have the larger safari vehicles for a bigger family traveling together, but we can really offer a super romantic private safari experience for our, kind of more intimate bookings of 1, 2 in these vehicles. Now, the interiors of Lawapi also just really beautiful. And you'll hear me a lot during my presentation. I myself am an avid art collector of African contemporary and modern art, but I do have an understanding of all African art. It really is something that I love. So what I point out right away, this whole back wall, this is a very unique wood carving, and this is modeled after a Cecil Scottness. He is a very famous South African artist. We work with his daughter Pippa on documenting the San Bushman etchings and a number of other things at Swallow. So we're able to get the rights to recreate this. So it's not just a wall, it is still the storytelling, it is still the history of Swallow of South Africa. All of them are the same, so same color palette, same amenities. They have a private office, beautiful interiors, cork ceilings, again, all environmentally friendly and sensitive materials that we used, private chef, private kitchen, beautiful rooms, very spacious, all identical. And something that I thought was really well done that I point out, in the bedrooms, you see here that this is kind of a visual separation at the back of the bed. On the other side is a really cozy day bed, right? If you want to sit in the window, read a book, relax, that becomes a proper trundle bed with a full mattress. Children under 12 sharing with parents stay for free. And, or you could turn this into a triple, but you don't have to change the feng shui of the room or like have a cot right next to the bed for the parents. It does give a really wonderful space for children. All en suite, as you would expect. We do in-room massages. We've got yoga, outside rain showers, private Lawapi amenities. And then again, just the views, the design, environmentally sensitive, solar boreholes, the natural materials. So it's really a lovely, incredible property, like I said, that just launched. We have been getting rave reviews from the guests that we've had already. And I will send follow-up to Simon and Mariana that covers everything with links and more information and goes into more detail for you about Swallow. This is our impact statement. Any property that is a part of the long run, and Mariana and I were actually talking about a property in Nicaragua that I went to years ago. So it's not just Africa, it is international. Any property of the long run will post a impact statement that showcases where the money goes, where the impact is made, how your guests are actually making a difference just by choosing to come and stay with us when they are on safari. Now I'm going to keep you in South Africa, but I'm going to bring you over to the Sabi Sands, to a property that is a brilliant pairing with Swallow, one that I know Ultimate Jet Vacations Africa uses all the time as well. I saw Ruby joined us. I saw her when she was en route to Cheetah Plains earlier this year as well. And this is a property that I really, again, am just loving being a part of, because they are going the distance when it comes to art in Africa as well, along with incredible safari. Cheetah Plains is also owned by a South African family. You can see right away, much more modern, much more contemporary, beautiful setting, and an incredible offering. We are in the northeastern sector of the Sabi Sands. We have 8,200 hectares of traversing area, so big five, beautiful terrain, easy access. Arethusa is just about a 20-minute safari drive away, or you can chopper in and land right on property. Cheetah Plains is 3 completely separate 4-bedroom villas. So we do have many guests that are coming that are 6, 7, or 8, and they end up just chartering, and that's very easy as well. From above, I always highlight Cheetah Plains is 100% solar. This is our back of house. You don't see it when you're on the ground. So completely solar and off grid. Many of our guests do actually geek out on doing a back of tour or back of house tour, seeing how we're doing all of this, because it's revolutionary. I mean, they worked with some amazing people to be able to make it so that we had all of the electricity we needed for our electric vehicles, our internet, our media room, our Dyson hair dryers, everything, and all of the 5-star amenities solar. So Cheetah Plains, you've got 1, 2, 3 separate villas. They are sold independently. You can also, though, take 2 or 3 together. We've worked with you on some very big bookings of 21, 24 people. So keep that in mind for when you have the larger bookings. And every single one, though, does have the same amenities. What changes? The kind of space between the rooms, the views, and then, of course, the art collection. What is shared in the middle, and I don't have an updated photo yet, so just kind of visualize with me. In the center here is where we have the fitness center. We just completed building a boutique. We are in the process, as we speak, of building a hair salon, and we are also in the process of building an art gallery. So by the end of the year, I hope to have photos that showcase all of those new incredible amenities as well. Now, this is an original Cecil Scottness. As I said, the art collection here is a super wow. And all of the villas have their own private pool, boma, media room, kitchen, wine gallery. All of the suites are identical. Dual-headed rain showers, beautiful walk-in closets, outside day bed. All of the rooms will have iPhones next to the beds with your team pre-programmed, because each villa has its own dedicated team of about a dozen. You have a hostess, guide and tracker, private chef, private spa therapist, you're serving in, kind of butler team, and then your housekeeping team. So again, exceptional experience here. All of the villas also have their own private electric vehicle, heated seats, and I see many people have joined me today that I know well, and I know you've been on safari and you know that heated seats make a difference, especially when it is cold in the Sabi Sands, when most people from North America are traveling. So heated seats with storage compartments and charging stations. The roof can be on or off depending on what your guests are asking for. Superb dining. They have hired some of the best sous chefs, executive chefs, and we do lots of destination dining, sun uppers, sundowners, bush brunches. I will say, we do kosher better than almost any property I have come along. We have a proper kosher document on the website that outlines all of that. I myself have celiac. I have traveled with vegans, with vegetarians. My husband's keto. Whatever it is that your guests are asking for from a dietary perspective, Cheetah Plains not only goes the distance, but they do it again in this beautiful, refined, incredible way. Back at the Boma, and again, wonderful for families with children because everything is exclusive use. Something that also really turns my head is that my husband is South African and from the South African wine region. So we do know good wines. And this is a wine cellar that will rival the best, if not go beyond, in South Africa. So if you do have people that are onophiles here, this is a great place to send them, because you are going to be able to taste and sample really unique wines from across South Africa, and everything is included. All of your top shelf bubbles, wines, international spirits. We've got a cigar bar area, and all of your spa is included. So manis, pedis, facials, massages, as many as you would like, all included in the rate. Now, it's not just myself who loves art, it is the owner of Cheetah Plains. And so again, you see that the collection has some of the most remarkable South African and African contemporary and modern artists being shown. We do have an art buying in the bush experience. We launched one last year. There was some great press around that. And I did find out yesterday that we are working on another one with that with the art gallery being built that is going to go above. So if you do have guests who are collectors and are looking to acquire, which is something that, people are paying attention to the art scene in South Africa right now, definitely. And then this is the new boutique. And along with the boutique, Shari, the owner's wife, she designed her own line of jewelry specific for Cheetah Plains. And on top of that, then we do have a diamond safari. So what that means is basically, and this is extra, the art buying and the diamond safari, right? Because we are bringing specialists to the property and your guests are getting to bring home some really fantastic pieces with them. But what we do here is we can bring her gemologist to the property. Your guests choose their stones and are a part of actually creating a one-of-a-kind piece of jewelry. The hair studio, which I mentioned, is actually being built as we speak. And then the gym, which is there on property right now. Many of our guests also love going to the creche and visiting with the teacher and the students that we support, which is again a part of what your guests are supporting just by coming to us. I'm going to bring you up to Rwanda right now to the Retreat by Heaven in Kigali. And this is a really just impactful property to send your guests to as well. And I just happen to believe, after spending time in Rwanda in February of this year, it is just heads and tails above the rest. So hopefully we will be able to get some of your guests there with us when they are doing their gorilla trekking in East Africa. The story of the retreat is one that if any of you are readers, you might enjoy. Josh, He wrote a book called A Thousand Hills to Heaven, and it tells the story that I will kind of highlight for you here. Josh and Alyssa, they are Americans, and their backgrounds are in public health, food sciences, health and wellness, and they just did so much humanitarian philanthropic work to the point that Josh was asked to go to Rwanda post-genocide and help rebuild the country by creating one of what they call the millennial villages. And Alyssa went with, she started volunteering at orphanages, and the two of them fell in love with the people of Rwanda and the journey that this country was going to be on. They now today have 3 of their own children, 3 adopted children. They have an incredible nonprofit for education of other students within Rwanda. And Alyssa went on to build Heaven Hotel and Restaurant. That was the original, the 4-star. As Rwanda has really become known for the 5-star gorilla trekking experience, and they also have chimps, and then they've got Big 5 too, so a destination unto itself. She then created the retreat and fusion. So if I move you through here, the retreat, we are about a 20-minute drive away from the international airport, right in the center of the country. Super easy to use us before going to your gorilla trek. But again, not just the gorilla trekking up here in volcanoes. I did a drive down along Lake Kivu, such an incredible way to end an experience, let's say, instead of going out to the ocean. I also went to Nungwe. This is where you've got your chimp trekking, and I felt like I was doing forest bathing the whole time I was in this beautiful kind of tea plantation part of the country. I came back, spent another night at the retreat before going out to Akagera, which is where you've got your Big 5. And Kigali unto itself is an incredible African city. Kigali is being known now for, business, conferences. Definitely, it is the seat of everything going on the African continent. Later on this year, we're hosting the first ever World Travel and Tourism Conference on the African continent, but everything from FIFA to the Commonwealth has all come through Kigali and stayed with us at the retreat. Here you see the main part of the property. These are the Superior King Suites. They overlook the saltwater pool, which is heated by solar. This is another environmentally sensitive property. Yes, 5-star, but all solar, recycling, organic gardens, handmade sustainable teak furnishings, organic linens and amenities. So again, having the environment front and center while offering this beautiful experience. So the history of Heaven is that it actually became a vocational training program for the Rwandese people. And to date, Alyssa has trained more than 2,500 Rwandans on 5-star luxury hospitality. They have gone on to work at the Singitas and the Wildernesses and the one and onlys of the world. When I was traveling around Rwanda at all of those wonderful properties, it was like the kindest, most gentlest, knowing intro, if you will, where people would go, "Where did you stay in Kigali?" And when I told them the retreat, they trained me. I came from there. I worked with them, Josh and Alyssa, the stories. So they and what they're doing, they're permeating the country outside of just what they're doing in in Kigali. And then Alyssa, like me, loves art. So on property, we have our own art galleries and we have an artist in residence tour. But then also beyond that, Alyssa has created some absolutely amazing experiences throughout Kigali that Ultimate Jet Vacations Africa books for you when you are having your guests stay with us. So ask the team about this. They've got the documents about why stay longer in Kigali, and it's everything from art tours to coffee tours to visiting with the women who are doing the actual piece baskets. Really interesting to stay in Kigali longer. Many people, of course, want to go and visit the Genocide Memorial. On site, we include our own cultural activities as well, from banana winemaking to cooking classes. And my absolute favorite is, yes, the boutique is stocked with lots of made in Rwandan goods, but we also have an on-site tailor. And so you can go to the boutique and meet with him. You get measured. You look through a lookbook, you pick out your design, he can change it with you, and then you pick out your fabrics and custom clothing, men, women, children, accessories. So do that on day 1 or 2 in Kigali with us, then go and have your incredible experience throughout Rwanda, come back, maybe have another massage, another wonderful dining experience, pick up your goods. And the dining is really remarkable here. I just found out this week about a brand new restaurant that was opened in Kigali. It's the sister property to one that I love in Accra in Ghana. We ourselves have a 8-course wine pairing dining experience at Fusion Restaurant, which is the 5-star kind of international. A month or 2 ago, CNN had an article on something called Meza Malonga, which is also in Kigali, at the helm of a Michelin-starred chef. So again, like I said, the scene in Kigali really is very on the up and up, and we have 3 separate restaurants and many dining experiences for your guests at Fusion, Heaven Restaurant, and then our wine lounge. We include a half-an-hour massage for all guests at the retreat as well. And then, of course, there's a full spa, yoga, fitness. So lots of ways to get over jet lag and have a nice little health retreat. This is called the Pool Villa. We have 8 of these. These are the newest kids on the block here. These were built between 2018 and 2019. This is where your 5-star, high-end, ultra-luxe clientele should definitely be looking. These are where we have hosted royalty, celebs, people that are looking for privacy because they are fully walled in and have their own pools, front and back gardens, lots of places to kind of be in the sun or the shade. And they are the largest, they are the most expansive. And all of them, though, whether you're in the luxury pool villas, which feel more along the lines of like a Quitando or a Basate or a Gorilla's Nest booking, if you will, outside of these, if they're full or it doesn't work in the price point for your clients, then the Superior King Suites are still lovely. Same organic amenities, still with a lovely outdoor rain shower and a little backyard area. However, these are where you're going to use that shared pool, and you can see that they're about 1/3 of the size. So definitely a difference, but again, a range of options for guests. And then I will bring you right across the border and over to Kenya, where we have Cotters. Cotters is another one of my favorites, and I'm fortunate. I mean, I've been working with many of my partners for years upon years. And for those of you that follow me on social, you know that I've traveled a lot during the past number of years. So I've spent almost every April, May, or November at Cotters for probably the past 5 or 6 years. And it's not just me in the industry, though. Cotters actually has the highest repeat rate of any lodge that I know of in Africa. I think that we've had guests, and actually some are from Florida, at Cotters more than 50 times. And we have guests that come here every year for a week. They have their advisor book them Cotters for a week, and then, you know, maybe they do their gorilla trek or Cotters and then the beach or something else. And it's because of what this property stands for. You have the Cotter family. They were the original family of safari in East Africa. They've been in business more than 100 years, 5 generations of Cotters. And, you know, so you have that incredible history. You're looking at the 1920s Rolls Royce, we call her Dugu Dugu, and she's what they were using when they were originally guiding, you know, royalty and artists and the adventurers of the 1920s, 30s, 40s. She's now a gin bar, so we use her for our sundowners and our airstrip pickups, and great for Instagram moments for sure. But we've completely come forward, and Cotters, not just as a part of the long run, is one of less than a dozen global ecosphere retreats within the long run, which means we are operating at the absolute highest kind of awareness of, again, those 4 C's. Some of you might also remember that I had Enoch, one of our silver level guides in the Ultimate Jet Vacations Africa offices. What was that, Simon, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now? Enoch is, yeah, 2 years. Gosh, I've totally lost my mind with timing. Enoch is completely self-taught, fluent Spanish speaking. So we actually brought him to Mexico when he was doing interviews with Forbes and Rob Report and on and on. We've hosted many Spanish-speaking guests from Colombia, from Nicaragua, from Mexico. So again, Cotters just has this totally different feel because in part of our Maasai guides. We sit on private conservancy right next to the Mara. This is important because we can offer your guests the ultimate Mara, kind of migration experience away from the scrum, away from the white minivans, away from the other busyness of the lodges within the Mara. We still get them into the Mara for their animal viewing, for the migration. We've got this Sand River right down here. And the Sand River is a natural border. Other vehicles cannot come through. So we've got all of this incredible land within the Mara and then the private conservancy. Private conservancy land is so important in Kenya, one, because now you can do all of these great activities. I actually planted a tree at Cotters when I was there for my 40th birthday. So I've got roots deep in Kenyan soil in more ways than one. You can throw seed balls. You can go out with our all-female ranger unit. We were the first to have an all-female ranger unit. Sit down and bead with Mama Nishiro, or go for walks and e-bikes and runs with our Maasai. Now, we can also really elevate the experience by bringing in specialists from the Kenya Bird of Prey Trust to the Mara Elephant Project to the Mara Meru Cheetah Project. Any species, any interest that your guests have, I guarantee you we can really elevate their experience off of a vehicle, again, because of that private land and our connections. Going to our village as well is incredible because, again, we lease our land from the Maasai. We don't own our land. We work in tandem with them to show them the benefits of tourism, to protect this land outside of all of the reserves and parks, which is very crucial as well in Kenya. So when you go to visit the village that's within our conservancy, it's only guests of Cotters that are going out there. The traditional canvas baths, it's another kind of out of Africa, totally romantic historical experience that everybody loves to post. We have the Maasai Warrior School. And I always say, yes, again, we're great for families. But when I had my friends and family here for my 40th, it was my mama who shot the first, bullseye. So whether you are 7 or 70, what Cotters offers is great for all generations, all ages. Incredible animal viewing. Of course, this is again why we're coming to Africa. Safari, culture, immersing ourselves in something that's completely different than where we're from. Outside of the migration, though, keep in mind, Cotters is open year-round, and we do have wonderful animal viewing throughout the year. When the migration is not in Kenya, then you're still going to see massive herds of elephant. You're going to see incredible plains game, beautiful giraffe. Our landscape in the southern part of the Mara is totally different from the north. So that's specifically why I've been here in those times of year. And it's a great kind of, we can do specials for your guests coming in that more private season. The property itself, definitely amazing and one of a kind. And this was redone during the past couple of years. This is the main mess area. So you see this incredible custom bar in the middle, the beautiful light fixtures, it kind of is reminiscent of those old train cars. When they redid it, new softs, new linens, new furnishings, new stemware, flatware, things like that. But being that Cotters is 100 years old or more, you also have the original one-of-a-kind family heirlooms, the original gramophones, the original videography and photographic equipment, the archival prints. And I would be remiss if I did not talk about our art. We have originals from Julian Schnabel, from Anthony Russell, who's a living artist. He's best friends with Calvin. We can get you set up to go and actually meet with him. We've got one-of-a-kind Peter Beards. I mean, Peter Beard and Calvin Cotter were very good friends. So if you do know about these artists and the whole history of lore, those stories are what's being told as you're walking through this property. Over in the main mess, next door to the mess, we have the E4C Explorers tent. We've recently launched an entomology safari just for children, a budding conservationist safari for children. We do talks about the Maasai, the long run, the Cotter family here. Beautiful pool pavilion, wonderful spa, lovely organic garden as well. And then super exciting, at the 1920s tented property, we just announced brand new tents. So we have gone up in accommodation to where we now have 11 in total. There are 4 two-bedroom family tents. So 2 bedrooms on either side, en suite. In the middle, you see that dining area. There's a living room and kind of fire pit area, outside veranda. And when you book a family tent, a family of 4 is guaranteed a private vehicle guide and tracker here as well. And then we can put in other beds if it's a larger family. This is one of the new honeymoon tents. So we have 2 honeymoon tents, one that is an existing tent, one that is new. Over time, we're looking to redo all of them. If you are specifically wanting a new tent, get in touch with the team. They can loop me in and I can let you know exactly which one is new, the footprint, the views, all of that. But you see the new tents have wooden floors, beautiful wallpaper in the bathrooms, much more spacious, totally different layout and design, just kind of zhuzhing it up a little bit, if you will. And then we have 5 double tents, including one that's a totally new additional tent, and then one that is a replacement tent. These are 40% larger than the existing tents. The bathrooms are on the side to take advantage of the beautiful views. You see the same kind of new themes throughout as well. But again, the existing tents, also lovely, classic, wonderful. We're just kind of redoing them little by little as best we can, also to not disrupt the bookings that we do have in-house. So the camp's looking great. And again, the feedback so far, especially coming off of peak season, fantastic. Now, up above the 1920s camp, this is where we have the 10,000 square foot, 5-bedroom bush villa. Great for exclusive use. We start pricing at 6 guests and can take more than 10, make a plan, move some beds around, have lots of kids. This is also where I brought my friends and family. So I will always just say those big celebrations, family reunions, big O birthdays. I was reminded of how sweet it is to share a space with all of like your loved ones, especially after the time that we all had apart. And here, the Bush Villa has also recently gotten some love. We added a second deck with a hot tub, new roof, new floors, some new softs. And here you also have sweeping views across the whole Mara and Serengeti, private staff, 25-meter swimming pool. There's a fire pit, and so the Maasai will come up here for an African night. And I will point out here as well, I mean, when I think about how we're moving from the past to the future, this particular piece, this center photo, this is the living room. Again, an amazing collection of art. I remember last year getting a call from Louise Cotter, who sits on the board of the Long Run. Actually, I think that she's the chair now. She also sits on the board of the Ma Trust. And she said to me, we're taking down all of the trophies from the past 100 years, and I have commissioned this incredible hand-beaded piece of art from the Ma Trust, women in the local Maasai community. So again, for us, it is always about how we are constantly working with and respecting and moving forward the Maasai community that, you know, we benefit from being able to lease land from. Absolutely beautiful. All of the rooms are different and en suite. And of course, our E4C impact statement. And then my last property is Old Jogi, and thank you very much. I mean, again, I know that we've had some lovely bookings across my entire portfolio from you, so thank you for that already. But Old Jogi is really, truly a remarkable one. And I remember the last time I talked to Simon, he said every guest that you've been sending our way comes back with just like rave reviews. So Old Jogi, still in Kenya. We are up in Laikipia. Old Jogi is unique because we are a 58,000 acre private wildlife conservancy, 100% exclusive use. We take one booking at a time. Throughout the year, we have a 4, 6, or 8-person minimum, and then sky's the limit per person pricing from there, children's rates. I've literally had a couple do a buyout, and then this summer we had 35 people. So you tell us what you need, we will tell you how we make it happen. Old Jogi is also unique in that we were the family getaway of this private family for about 3 decades. So it was built over time at the absolute height of luxury, untouchable, unrecreation, inability to recreate it. And yet, then behind the scenes, they created some of the most impactful conservation and community projects in Kenya. So when the father passed away about 10 years ago, Old Jogi went into a trust, and the son opened it up for tourism, specifically just to help bring in money to offset the cost of what we're doing here. And so your guests get to be a part of that journey. Old Jogi is a series of cottages that wrap around this kopi. They look out onto this beautiful watering hole. There's a salt lick with an underground tunnel that leads to a subterranean hide. In Laikipia, we do have our own runway on property. All of our guests are doing charter to come to us. And Laikipia is important because we have entirely different species than the Mara. So combining or just coming to Old Jogi because we are a destination unto itself is a great thing. Old Jogi was Kenya's second private sector rhino conservancy. What that means today is that we have more than 120 rhino on property in our care. More than 80 of the world's remaining eastern black rhino are at Old Jogi. The photos that you see right now, these are of the Wildlife Rescue Center and the vet clinic, again, that the family built behind the scenes. And now your guests can ask for a dog demonstration with our bloodhounds that we use for anti-poaching, or can meet Alfie, who is our permanently blind rhino that we will protect and care for the duration of his life, but not just for your guests. Old Jogi has one of the largest DNA banks of rhino within East Africa. We're using that for research and for anti-poaching. Alfie was actually the very first rhino in East Africa that had a pilot program with a nonprofit in Southern Africa using him to track and monitor. So what we're doing here is very crucial and important. We have a partnership with the Smithsonian. We are the East Africa headquarters for Vets International. We work with various zoos, universities like Princeton and Yale and Manchester and Brown. So again, this is why Old Jogi exists, and your guests get to be a part of it. We have all of the big 5 and all of the northern species in some of the largest concentrations. We've proven through census more than 450 reticulated giraffe, the largest population of Grevy's zebras. We include a habituated baboon walk, or you can just sit in that underground hide morning, noon, and night, get a cappuccino, get a cocktail. It's low lit in the evening time. We even had a family with kids, and the kids were like, we don't want to leave. We don't want to leave. Can we sleep here? Yes, we set up cots down there so that they could just sleep there and watch all of the animals throughout the evening and the night. Because of the online, I'm going to skip the video, but we have 6, I think, really impactful videos that make this property come to life in a big way on our website. And we do not do any published pricing, and we don't have live availability either. So those videos are really a wonderful tool to send to your clients to get them interested. Old Jogi, like I said, we are a resort in the bush. We are a destination unto itself, especially if you have guests that are like, you know something, we are tired of going to the Caribbean for a week, or we're over our US ski week. We want to go somewhere as a family for a week. As a great example, last year, I had about, I think it was 3 or 4 different families, all from Texas, and their advisor booked them Thanksgiving week at Old Jogi. It was about 18 people. Direct flights now from New York to Nairobi, and then lots of other ways of getting to us. We've got the tennis court, an orchid pavilion, an organic garden, a fantastic chef. You see this heated swimming pool with a 2-story pool house, steam room, sauna, jacuzzi. We have a 2,000 square foot Moroccan hammam. We also have then the formal and informal dining areas. We've got this incredible music and game room, a media room, an office, the bar, which is super fun. And you're starting to see as well the property. And when I say this couldn't be recreated, Old Jogi has one-of-a-kind pieces of art from artists around the world or handmade from within Kenya. I love these solid mahogany bunk beds pulled off of an old ship for kids. All of the cottages are en suite with beautiful stained glass, marble inlay. We have Lalique lighting, Murano glass fixtures, Hermes linens, Limoges, Dior. We've got Wedgwood china and Cartier stemware. Truly, this is a museum that you get to walk through and appreciate and enjoy. We do dining throughout the entire property, from out in the bush to our underground wine cellar. And again, the community initiatives. We sponsor the Tuala Women's Cultural Center, so many guests will go there. Our school is a Montessori certified school, so many guests love to meet with Harmina, our headmistress, who has actually been with us since day one. She grew up at Old Jogi when her parents were working here, went to the school, graduated from the school, got a bursary for her secondary education, and then came back to work for us and with us. These are the stories and the legacy of the people at Old Jogi. We can also do anything that you need for your guests. We bring in the traveling telescopes, choppers, horse rides. This is 4 of 40. I mean, you tell us again what your guests are interested in, what they want. Is it a celebration? Do we need a photographer? Are we doing a party? Do they want a band? This is the property where the answer is yes. I just always say they need enough money, we need enough time. Outside of that, we can make it happen. And then this is the layout of the property. So I'm always happy to do like a co-hosted, if you will, with the team, if you want to sit down and look at the nuances of all of the rooming and how we can make people fit and work. And then just finally for me is Scenic Air Safaris in East Africa. They are headquartered in Kenya. They are a preferred partner of Old Jogi because, again, all of our guests are doing charter to come to us. But regardless, Scenic is hands down the best private aviation solution. When I say that, they own their own planes. So they have the youngest fleet of planes with the most modern avionics. They've outfitted the interiors to all be like ultra luxe executive configurations. They do have a fleet of the Grand Caravans. Those are the workhorses of East Africa, if you will, but then a whole other range, either that they own or they subcharter through their parent company. Their parent company with Scenic, these are the guys that are flying, the ambassadors of the world, the diplomats of the world, the UN, celebs, rock and rollers. So if you are looking for the highest level of safety, 100% hands down, we standard fly with one pilot, but we can easily put on a second. And they take care of all of the aviation needs you might have. So I absolutely love, I've always said this to Simon too, ultimate jet vacations, because Scenic is handling a lot of the private planes coming into Kenya. If your guests are flying on their own jet or Boeing, you name it, they can do wing-to-wing transfers, get you through the diplomatic immigration lounge. You don't even have to leave JKIA. Now, I'm going to tell you too, because again, I love Nairobi as much as I love Kigali and Cape Town. But if you have guests that don't want to spend any time and just want to get right out onto their safari, Scenic can fly in and out of JKIA. When you are flying in and out of Wilson, they have their own private lounge that was just built this past year. So your guests will never go through the Wilson Public Departures Lounge. They will always be in our private lounge. You see the interiors, custom Italian leather, business class seats. They swivel, they recline. We've got armrests. They all have their own headsets because our pilots do low-level flying. They're all trained as guides. The beauty of Scenic is that you are not just doing A to B, you're going across the actual landscape. You're seeing the beauty of Kenya. You're not puddle jumping your way around to all these different properties, but you are definitely with your charter getting scenery like this. Say you were going down to the Chulus. My husband works with Kampiakanzi, but there's a lot of properties down there in the Amboseli region. I've flown low over the Amboseli swamps. Then going up to, for instance, when I went to Cotters, I've seen the migration from the air with river crossings. They fly at about 150 feet. Then when I leave Old Jogi, my departure day is always an early morning flight up to the Seguda, to see the Rift Valley, to see Lake Turkana, to see the flamingos. So they can really let your guests see the beauty of East Africa and Kenya in a different way. I will play this very quickly. And then keep in mind as well, as you're working on your itineraries, one of the beautiful things is that they launched a partnership with Lewa. This is called Scenic Wilderness, and it literally just goes Lewa, Mara, Mara, Lewa, Lewa, Mara. So it's a seat-in charter that enables you to get your guests from the Mara to Lewa without having to go back to Nairobi, or from Lewa to Mara more seamlessly with it, again, out having to like do all of those drop-offs and pickups that a lot of the other scheduled flights are going to do. And if you ever wanted to work with us on something like this, I've spoken to the Ultimate Jet Vacations team. Again, I think that this is just an amazing offering of cross-border flying safaris because they can do cross-border. They hold all of the rights in hand to go from, gorillas in Rwanda to the migration maybe in Kenya, down to the chimps in Tanzania, Lake Malawi. It makes for a really unique and different safari. And quite frankly, it can save money because if you're not having to waste time backtracking to airports you wouldn't need to go to, or even having a forced overnight, but instead going from the different lodges, maximizing your time on the ground, 2 hours of scenic flying, absolutely just, an incredible, incredible offering. And they are completely green. They carbon offset through the Red++ project down in the Chulus as well. And I don't take time to go through West Africa, but just know that if you do need anything, I work with them there. I will also say one other thing with Scenic that is very important to me. This literally just came up the other day, is that they have a complete SOP for when you have any travelers who are using a wheelchair. I do a lot of work on accessible travel in Africa. It is something that means a lot to me personally. So if you do have guests that are asking you about things like that, please know that Scenic is another just wonderful partner, to be able to get people around very easily and seamlessly. I tried to go as fast as I possibly could since we got a late start, and we might have some questions.
Thank you so much, Brooke, for an amazing presentation. And once again, my sincere apologies for the for the technology hiccup. We
Not
have
a problem whatsoever. Everyone deals with tech issues, right?
now we have some amazing comments. We have a comment from Maida. She says, Brooke, great presentation, perfect information, love your energy, passion, and knowledge. I was engaged from the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all very, very much. I know I was really very pleased when Simon asked me if I would do this with all of you. I think I know many of you. For many that I don't know, I wake up thinking about Africa. I go to bed dreaming about Africa. I spend about 2 to 3 months of my life over there every year. My husband is South African. It is all I care about. So if I can ever help, please let me know. I do definitely tend to go off the beaten track a little bit and, do some more interesting things. And I would love to be able to help you do those things with your clients as well. And I love the team that Simon's built. Like I said, I see Ruby. I'm trying to see all the names at the same time. And it's just been so fun working with all of you. And so thank you. Yes. And so in terms of the pricing, so like I said, I'm going to send the Ultimate team my follow-up that they can send to everyone. And there are links for all of the rack rates. Many rack rates are published on the websites. Again, Old Jogi does not. But basically, what I kind of say is, think about me as like your 2,000 per person per night girl. If you're working around that price range on a rack basis for your guests, we can start to play. So when I say that, Swallow, motzi, we price in rand. So it fluctuates, but you're going to look at about 18 to 1900 for motzi, up to about 2200 for lawapi. And that's per person pricing. And then we have our flights. And then with all of the specials and things like that, again, it changes, but we're around there, 1800 to 2200. Over at Cheetah Plains, because we're a villa. The last time I did kind of the comparison there, again, it was around 2000 per person. But if you fill it with 8 guests, it's going to be a little bit less. If you've got 5 or 6, it's going to be a little bit more. The retreat, the luxury pool villas rack at 2200 for a couple with the inclusions. And then the Superior King suites are more around 800. And then at Cotters and peak season, we're looking at around 1800 per person in the luxury tents. But again, the honeymoon tent, a little bit more, the family tent. So again, that's why I kind of always go like this. And then in your private season, where you've got fewer people around, then that's all going to come down. And that's where you're going to find those wonderful specials. And Old Jogi for next year, 2024, we start, and I'm including our conservation fees in this, we started around 4,000 per person per night for the first 4 guests. And then we go down in price 5 to 12, 12 and above, children's rates as well. And again, your ultimate team can definitely let you know that we've had those multi-gen families, right? We've had those big bookings. The more people you bring and the more children that are there, most people come to me and say, I thought that this would be more expensive. And it's actually not, because of how we do our pricing. So that one is definitely my outlier of more expensive. Cotters is a little bit less expensive, but then everything else, 2 and change. Do you agree with me? I see smiles, so I'm hoping that that's agreement.
Thank you so much, Brooke.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. Does anyone else have any questions? I will be sending everyone a follow-up email with the recording of the presentation, and also any information you'd like to send me, Brooke, send it over to me and I'll make sure to send it to everyone, not only the people who attended Zoom, but also everyone who registered, that I know that when we switch platforms, not everyone could switch. So I'll send that follow-up email.
Not a problem. And I'm here for anyone and everyone. Whenever you need anything, just let me know. Again, I really appreciate everyone's time today. And Simon, I thank you very much for asking me to join you in the team and to be a part of this. It's much appreciated. Hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.